was dreaming. They won it by 4 in the end.
American Anthem has taken off. American Anthem easily in the Woody Stevens.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by WinStar Farm. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo. Let's take a look at the field for Saturday's Spa Baby event. It is the opener at 6 furlongs, a maiden special weight, a field of 7. Todd Pletcher has 2, and we see that our sponsor, WinStar, is represented by the number 7 Horde by WinStar Stallion Super Saver. Nicole, will begin down towards the inside with the number 1 Kentucky Club. Tell us about this first crop sire, classic winning Oxbow.
Well, of course, Oxbow, known for winning the Preakness, had a lot of speed that he could use tactically as well. He really didn't run badly in the Derby or the Belmont. A bit of a later blooming horse from a later blooming family, a stallion-making family on both sides. I expect Oxbow to have a solid first crop. He's only got 1 winner so far, but, I kind of expected that. I didn't expect these to be the April or May 2-year-olds. And certainly this one from a really strong female family as well.
As we see, the second dam won the Grade 1 Acorn Zoftig. The third dam, a Grade 1 stakes winner, I believe Zoftig, won the Celine Stakes. Kentucky Club is going to have to deal with an inside post position, sometimes a bit claustrophobic and intimidating for first-time starters. Wayne Lucas has had a hot meet, but with first-time starters at Saratoga over the past 5 years, according to this formulator fact, not so good. Past 5 years, 2-year-old first-time starters, maiden special weight dirt sprints at the Spa, 0 for 31, 1 in the money runner. Maybe Kentucky Club will benefit with a race under his girth. The number 2 is Lionite. His sire, Quality Road, does well with 2-year-olds.
Yeah, Quality Road came out of the gate with Hootenanny, who, of course, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He's continued on with good 2-year-olds like Abel Tasman, who was a Grade 1 winner last year before developing into one of the top 3-year-old fillies of the season. And this one, Lionite, was a $330,000 yearling who's turning in some decent works for Steve Asmussen, indicating that maybe he's going to be another early starting 2-year-old as well.
Quality Road clicks with 13% of 2-year-old first-time starters, and Lionite is a half to a multiple stakes winner. That is Hard Mystery. The dam was also a stakes winner going long. I prefer the Asmussen second-time starters than firsters, but we know this barn can connect first time out. Lionite 7-2 on the morning line. Jose Ortiz takes the mount. The number 3 is Bourbon Resolution. Now, this horse has experience. He's trained by Ian Wilkes, who is not known for winning first out. So the fact that Bourbon Resolution ran so well in his debut, only beaten a half length, I think it bodes well for his chances in here.
Yeah, definitely. He comes off a nice effort at the 6 furlong distance, was a closing second, missed by half a length against Hollywood Star, who's a half to a couple of graded stakes winners, a very well-regarded horse there. They finished 5 lengths clear of the third-place finisher, who came back to win next out, although maybe against softer competition at Indiana Grand. But still, Bourbon Resolution, I really liked that first-time out effort.
By a Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner in New Year's Day, out of a mare by a Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner, Vindication. This horse sold very well as a yearling, $125,000, versatile family. The dam won twice on turf. That dam is a half to Salute the Sarge, who is a good sprinter, and Chiloki, who is a good middle distance runner. Let's talk about the New Year's Days. What are you going to expect from this young stallion?
Well, certainly we thought, they would be decent 2-year-olds. He ran so well at 2. Of course, we didn't know what he could have done at 3. He started coming on toward the end of his 2-year-old season. Of course, had that powerhouse win in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I think that maybe down the road, these are going to be horses who can handle a distance.
The number 4 is Thunder Mesa, and Thunder Mesa is by a good, solid 2-year-old stallion in Sky Mesa, who won the Grade 1 Hopeful.
Yeah, definitely, and he's become a very, very useful 2-year-old sire himself. The dam here, another turf-type family here. The dam was a multiple graded stakes place on turf, produced a German high-weighted Govinda. This is another one you maybe wonder what surface his future is going to be on down the line, as Sky Mesa is a very good all-purpose sire as well.
This horse very well regarded at the auctions. A $95,000 yearling sold all the way up for $315,000 as an April 2-year-old. And you're absolutely right. This pedigree just screams turf, which For me, it's very interesting that Michelle Nevin, who I know can read a catalog page, is trying dirt one more time. I think Thunder Mesa is going to run a lot better this time around. He was saddled with an inside post position in his career debut. He broke about 2 lengths slow, and his jockey that afternoon, Jose Ortiz, really didn't push on him after that. The winner of that race, Psychoanalyze, came back, ran 3rd in the Sanford. I'm not sure if Thunder Mesa is up to winning this race. Like you, I think I'm going to follow him when he stretches out on turf, but I think he's going to run a lot better, and maybe he's an exotics threat. Now let's get to the Pletcher runners. The number 5, Mojovation. I think the word's out on this horse. He's 9-5 on the morning line. He's another by Quality Road who sold for a pretty penny as a yearling.
Yeah, definitely. And this one, you know, well regarded, fired a big bullet, works 2 works back, a solid work pattern overall. This is the one of the Pletchers who Velasquez has picked up the mount on. And, you know, the dam is kind of interesting. She comes from a nice family herself, which we'll get to in a second. But the dam, Starship Warp Speed, earned her only win in a maiden claimer at Belmont, going 7 furlongs on a muddy track. And I had to do a double take when I looked at this chart. She rounds by 26 3/4 lengths there. Her other foals include a full sibling to Mojovation, who did win at 6 furlongs at a dirt as a 3-year-old. So certainly bred for this trip with a lot of speed in the family, I think.
You certainly contrast this pedigree with the one from the 4 Thunder Mesa, turf, distance, and the 5 Mojovation just seems bred to sprint, and these workouts are eye-popping off of the page, half mile, 47 and change out of the gate. I have a feeling this horse is going to take a lot of money, and it's probably a must-use in any kind of multiple race exotic like the 50-cent early pick 5. But Todd Pletcher also represented with the number 6, Country Squire. This horse is by Stay Thirsty, but there's some sprint on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A ton of speed in this female family. Country Squire's out of an unraced Ghost Sapper mare, whose dam is the stakes-winning sprinter Country Romance. She's a half to the multiple graded-winning sprinter Catch Me If You Can. And you know what? Stay Thirsty, he's maybe best known for winning the Traverse, but he was a Saratoga 2-year-old himself. Grade 1 placed at 2, and later on in his career won the Cigar Mile. So I think paired with the right female family, like we see here, he could certainly get a quicker horse.
He connects with 9% of his 2-year-old first-time starters. Country Squire sold for $12,000 as a weanling, all the way up to $160,000 as a yearling. The 3rd dam, a graded stakes winner. Javier Castellano takes the mount for Country Squire. I think that this one might actually offer a little bit of value. The other Pletcher figures to be the one to take more money. Some faster workouts on Mojovation's tab. The number 7 is Horde by WinStar Stallion Super Saver, and Horde's out of a Speightstown mare, so there's a little bit of speed here, but when I look at this pedigree, I'm thinking distance.
Yeah, definitely, and particularly distance on the turf. The dam's a half to Request for Parole, who was graded placed at 2, graded placed at 3, and then went on to become a grade 1 winner going long in the United Nations on turf as an older horse. Super Saver, Kentucky Derby winner, actually sired sprint champion Run Happy. As you mentioned, sprint champion Speightstown, also standing at WinStar, is the broodmare sire. So there is some speed there. But Horde, I think, is another one of those horses that we're going to want to watch the development of down the line.
I'm sure the connections would be pleased if Horde runs on late, and maybe we'll stretch him out to 7 down the road, and then to route racing, perhaps when they get to Belmont, maybe a 1-turn mile. The number 7 Horde by WinStar Stallion Super Saver. Interesting way to start off your Jim Dandy Saturday with 2-year-old maidens. Where are you leaning?
Gosh, I wish I could be a little more creative in this race. I think Bourbon Resolution is really poised to move forward off that nice debut. Really a nice horse, I think. I'm certainly going to use Mojovation, who might be the fastest horse in the field. As we've discussed, I expect him to take a ton of action. So the other Pletcher horse, Country Squire, also a must-use for me. As we've said, I think it's a good blend of speed on both sides of the pedigree, and exactly as you said, Dan, he might offer a little bit of value there with flying in the shadow of his stablemate.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mojovation just, as you say, takes a ton of money, goes off around even money or 6-5 in this field. I might try to take a small swing against him with the 3 Bourbon Resolution, the horse you mentioned, the other Pletcher, the 6 Country Squire, but I guess I would have to use Mojovation, especially if he takes that sort of early action in the pick 5. So I guess 3, 5, and 6 I would use as A's in the pick 5. The 4 Thunder Mesa, though, I'm I'm going to keep an eye on him. I'd like to see him do a little bit better, and maybe we'll watch for him when he stretches out on the turf. Nicole and I will be back for Sunday's edition of Spa Babies, presented by WinStar Farm.